Today we are going to talk about cluster blocks and Hardanger, and while I am definitely not an expert or an authority, I've done just enough that I can at least show you how to do cluster blocks. Now, I can recommend that you look up several different sources on how to do these so that you can be as competent as possible, but I am going to show you how I do cluster blocks the way that I. So to start with, because we are doing Hardanger, many Hardanger patterns use what is called a cluster block, and a cluster block is 5 stitches that frame 4 threads, and that helps to secure your piece so that when you cut the threads, the entire piece doesn't come apart. So what we are going to do today is we're going to talk about how to determine where to put our cluster blocks. So I have a piece, because I am following a pattern, just a piece, and it's approximately 7 inches. Everyone's project will be a little different, but mine is about 7 inches, and this is a 20 count. So there are different fabrics. Some of them are going to be 25 count, or 18 count, or 22 count. But the important piece for us is when we're doing Hardanger, we want a fabric that is an even weave. So that means that you may see a little more of a gap between your warp and weft threads. And that is because we are trying to leave the amount of threads that you would have in 1 inch the same, whether you were counting from the top to the bottom or from side to side. So that's where we get our count. To begin with, we are going to need our thread, our piece of fabric, our tapestry needle, and our scissors. So I have some Perlovka thread here because I am following a pattern, and I am going to go ahead and just pull off somewhere around 2 yards. Well, maybe 1.5 yards. Let's do 1.5 yards. You don't want too much thread, because if you have too much thread, it will wear too much, and then as it pulls through the fabric, it will become more fuzzy. We don't want that. And then I'm going to pick my needle. Because I have a little thicker thread, I'm going to pick a needle with a little thicker eye. So this one is actually a clover, this one is a John James, and the skinnier one is a tulip tapestry needle. So all 3 of these are different kinds of tapestry needles. I am going to use, I think I'll try the clover to start with today. I may have to switch into my John James. So my clover, I think, is a 22, maybe? This one's a 24, this one's a 25. So the higher the number, the thinner the needle. That's the way it should go. But I'm going to start with this one. It has a nice big eye, so it makes it easy to thread. So I'm just going to go ahead and thread this guy. And then I like to pull my tails through quite a bit so that I have a smaller working space, but you do what you like to do. And then I need to examine my fabric and decide where my midpoint is. So I'm just going to fold my piece. And again, this is a pattern. So I'm just going to fold my piece and fold my piece. And that should give me approximately my midpoint, and then I'm going to mark it with some blue chalk so I can find it. So here's my midpoint. I also kind of have a fold line, which helps. Now, looking at this, one of the things we need to keep in mind is that we have to count up from the middle and down from the middle and out from the middle, because we want to center our design so that we don't run into issues. I have a bit of selvage here, so I have to make sure that my design is going to fit and won't run into the selvage. And what I need to do is I need to check my pattern, so I'll be right back as soon as I have checked it. Okay, so I have checked my pattern, and it tells me that I need to be 26 threads away from my center. It doesn't matter if I'm going up or over or down. I need to be 26 threads away from my center. So what I have to do now that I have marked my middle is I have to check and make sure 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 26. So here's my 26 threads away from my middle. And I'm just going to mark it again. You don't have to do that. I'm just using that as a guide. One thing that you can do is you can run a contrasting thread in a polyester or a plastic through your piece to make sure that you are in the center of it and that you are following along. It's very important when you're making your cluster blocks that you are checking your spacing so that you don't make a mistake, because when you make a mistake, you'll find that you need to very carefully unravel it back to your mistake and fix it so that you can move forward. Because if we are off one little piece, what will happen is our cluster blocks won't line up, which means that when we go to cut, things won't line up, so we won't be able to make the pretty center sections. All right. So now that I've come over here and marked it, I'm actually going to go ahead and count up from the center again and just mark my other strand so that I can figure out where I am. So this was my center. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. So I'm just going to mark that with blue. And now that I've done that, I know that I want to start up here at the top. So what I am going to do is count up, because we know it's going to be over 4 threads. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I need to go over 2 from there. So 1, 2, and I'm just going to make a little mark again. And this is just something that I do. You don't have to do it this way. But that tells me where I need to begin my cluster block so that it will cover, approximately cover my center area. And that will give me the beginning for my outline. So now that I have my piece marked, and I have my thread, it's time to go ahead and put that knot in the tail. So I just make a little overhand, and I'm going to make a knot in the tail. And then we are going to do an away, or a, uh-oh, just about lost my chalk, or a waist knot. And just in case you're wondering, the chalk that I'm using is actually Soline, which we use with Sashiko. But I have found that I can use it with Hardanger. So now you know. I'm also using untraditional colors. I should mention that for the Hardanger. So this is more of an oatmeal color as opposed to a traditional white. And of course I have colored thread because why not? So I'm doing sort of a fall harvest sort of pattern that was designed by Rendon Hornung, and I just thought that it was a great opportunity to show you how to start a cluster block for Hardanger so that we could keep adding to our knowledge, because that's part of the fun of this, I think. So when I do my away knot, what I want to do is try to put it in a space where it's going to be secured. So I know that as I work my cluster blocks, that I'm going to be coming in this direction because that's what my pattern shows me. And I suppose I can give you a little peek. So here's a little peek of my pattern. So it shows, like, this is just one of the points. But it shows me that I have cluster blocks on the inside and the outside. I'm going to start with my cluster blocks on the inside and then work the outside. A lot of people would probably start with the outside, but I'm going to start with my inside cluster blocks because that's going to hopefully give me my base, and then I can make sure that I haven't made any mistakes. So Anyway, when looking at these, I can see that I'm going to have a diagonal. So I want to make sure that I put my tail at a diagonal so that it will be covered by my cluster blocks, but also that I don't put it in a space where it might be cut later. So I am just going to do a small away knot, and I think I'm going to put it, let's see, so I know it'll be covered up here. So it'll be covered up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then maybe down. Let's do it like maybe right here. So hopefully I haven't screwed this up already. But if I did, I'll tell you all about it and we'll do it again. All right. So having done this, the next thing that we need to do is we're going to be making satin stitches. And we are going to be covering those 4 threads that we have marked. Let's see. I had to make sure I counted 3 over. 1, 2, 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. Yep. So I need to come up here. All right. So now I'm coming up from back to front. Oh, nope, I can already tell that's too far down. All right, so I'm going to back this one out. I'm going to take it to the top instead of the bottom so that hopefully I get a better angle on it. And that's a much better angle. All right. Having done that, now we have to make sure that we are making straight stitches and that we are covering 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's very important. We're going to count 5s and 4s a lot. So we're going to cover 1, 2, 3, 4 strands of our fabric. So I'm going to move over 1 thread. So into the space after 1 thread, 1 to the side here. Get rid of these, don't need that right now. And then I'm going to do it again. And what I'm trying to do right now is make sure that my tail is in position to be covered. So as I go through, I make sure that I poke it down. I can see I've got a little bit of that tail thread right there, which I don't necessarily want. But I'm trying to make sure that my needle is covering that thread so that my end is buried. That is my goal. Bury the end, but also remember to make the right number of stitches for my cluster blocks. So there's 1, 2. Okay, here's 3. Here's 4. And again, I'm making sure that I'm covering 1, 2, 3, 4 strands of thread with my embroidered satin stitches that will form my cluster block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. And I should not have come up over there. Hang on. Let me stick this through to the back. I got a little too excited, because what we need to do is we're actually going to be rotating and moving on to our next cluster block. But what I want to check, yay, is that I have managed to bury my thread end underneath most of my stitches. Woohoo! Okay, so what I should have done is I should have rotated my piece. But that's all right. I can also tell. Let's see, am I 1 strand off? Nope, I think I'm all right. Well, we're going to find out. If I make a mistake, I will tell you, and we will try again. So this time, we're going to do our cluster block, and we are going to rotate it because we've done stitches here, and if you notice in our pattern, our stitches go up and down, but also side to side. So what I have to do now is turn my fabric, and I just do that for my comfort. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 strands, and I'm going to come up. And what I should have done on that last one is I should have turned it to the side and stuck it in and done it properly. But I'll show you that as we come to it on our next cluster block. So remember, we're going to count over our 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. We're going to go over 1. Hang on. There we go. Into the same hole, out to the top, over to the side 1. If I had done it the way I originally put my needle in, it would have slanted, and we don't want that. We want straight stitches. So 1. So in at the bottom, over 1 strand, and up 1, 2, 3, 4 threads at the top. That's 2. Okay. Have to find the right hole. 3. And again, I'm trying to make sure my thread is underneath. So I'm sort of pressing it under. You can see where I've carried it down. I'm pressing it under. That's 4. And now this time I'm going to go in, but I have to remember that I'm going to rotate up. So when I do it this time, or maybe I rotate down. Let's see. If I go in here. Oh, this is the hard part for me. If I go in here, because I don't want to cut my thread, so I need to do my strand this way. Bring it through. Yep. And the reason I've had to do that is when I turn my fabric back here, and I make my next stitch down, if you're not careful about where you go, so let me show you what you don't want to do. If I had taken my thread and I'd done, oh, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. What happens is on the back, now I have this diagonal strand, and that's right in the box where we're going to cut. And then you would cut your strand. So we don't want to do that. So what we have to do is really think about where our thread needs to end up. And I know mine needs to be here, because we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 1, and we're going to build another cluster block just like this. And that's just what they call these groups of 5 stitches, 5 satin stitches that are covering your fabric. So see, I keep going down and to the side, down and to the side, just like this. Okay, and I shouldn't have come up out at the top. Sorry. That was a boo-boo on my part. Because that's not where we're headed next. So what I should have done, see if I can do it properly for you. There we go. So I should have gone down and then over. So we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you finish this block, you go over, and that will set you up to make your next cluster block. So let me show you what's happening on the back. So here's the back, and as you can see, our tail is nicely buried. So I am going to pop this guy from the front, and then, let's see, check him from the back. Yeah, let's see. Nope, I must have buried it. So, oh, there it is. So I've buried it all the way over here. And now it's underneath all of my thread. So I don't have to worry about it. So it's buried, buried, buried. Just do that. See how that tail got buried as we stitched? So I don't have to worry about it anymore. And that's why I decided to take off my waist knot. But we need to keep following our pattern. So I'm going to turn my fabric again. And remember, I have to go into that same hole I just came out of. And you don't want to split your threads, by the way. You want to go into the holes that make up the space between your threads. All right. And we're going to do the same thing again. So we're just going to keep building. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then remember, with this last one that you make, you have to think about where you're going. So I need to come out here on number 5 because we need to go down this time again. So you have to keep thinking about where your thread is headed so that you don't end up with diagonals over a space where you may be making a cut. Very important. So here we are. I've come out. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1 over. And now I'm just going to keep building my cluster blocks. I'm going to stitch on this for a while. And then when I come back, I will show you how to change your thread. So here we are, 4. And then here's my 5. Now this is the time when I don't go down and then come back up. We don't want to do that. We're going to go down and come over. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to be smart this time. So there we go. And then of course part of this is making sure that your stitches are firm enough and flat enough, but they aren't too loose and they haven't pulled too tightly on the fabric. And I am not great at it. I am definitely a beginning Hardanger person, but I can tell you all the things that I have done wrong and show you all of the things that I have done wrong. So hopefully it will make you a better stitcher. So this is where I am so far. So I'm going to check my pattern. So I need to have 8 of these before I change direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not there yet. So what I'm going to do is keep stitching, and when I come back, I will show you how to change your thread. All right, as I was stitching along, I noticed that I made a mistake, and I'm going to show you where it is. It's right here. So in this block, I was going over 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of 4 threads. So this one is wrong, which means I now have to take out all of my stitching back to this point, redo this cluster block, and then keep moving forward. So I am going to go fix myself, and then hopefully I can show you how to change your threads. Okay, I have reworked my piece, so now I have my 5 stitches over 4 threads, and I've gone ahead and taken my thread off of my needle so that I could put about 1 yard to 1.5 yards of thread on again, and that's what I'm comfortable with. If you need to use less thread, go right ahead. And now to start my new piece of thread, I am just going to run my new thread underneath a few of the cluster blocks that I have already made. It's a little bit like catching your tail like we did at the beginning. So just run it under. And then if I am brave, which I'm not sure if I'm brave today, I could take my old thread and I could try to hold it and run it underneath my new cluster blocks. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm brave enough to do that. I might just, I'm not brave. We're not going to be brave today. As you become more comfortable with it, you can hold the thread from your old tail underneath while you work. But I am going to go ahead and let's see, where am I? I need to go in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 2 more, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4 threads. So I'm going to bring it over. Let's see, I should be okay to do that. We're going to go up. And I think I'm going in a different direction than what I went last time, but that's okay. 2. If it works, it works. 3. Okay. Oop. Be careful as I do it. 4. And then for my 5, I need to come out the same hole because I need to go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I'm going to rotate because that'll be a little bit easier for me to see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very important that you count, count, count. So, and I need to check my back and make sure that I don't have any weird diagonals. I think I'm okay. That one should be okay. This is just my tail. It should just snug in there. Okay. 2. Let's see. 3. 4. And let's see if I come out here, am I okay? 5. Yes, I should be fine. Okay, so I can see, how am I doing? I'm going to fold my piece in half and check it and see if I've got, so 2 on that side, 3 on that side, and this is my center. Cool. And my little bit of Sashiko chalk is still holding, which is fabulous. All right, so anyway, I've made it most of the way around, and I could go ahead if I wanted, and I could weave my tail in now. I can wait, and I can weave this tail in a little bit later. And then all you're going to do is just, trim your tails when you're done weaving them in. I guess I could see if I can just weave this one in to show you. So to weave it in, we're just going to go underneath. So underneath, and then over. And then I would bring it back down. So this one I should have done differently because I ended up with 6 strands on the back. So this one, when I wove it in, what I should have done is taken it through that hole and then around, because this is probably going to try to show. So don't do what I did. Pay a little more attention to where your thread is. I am not going to pick it out for the purposes of this video because it is a good lesson in what not to do. So, but what I could do is I could come in here and I could rethread this. This is just my little tail. I shouldn't have cut it off yet. I could rethread this. And then if you leave it too short, which sometimes happens, you can use a crochet hook to pull it underneath. You can also use one of the nice Kariki Press threaders. But your other option is that you can use the eye of your needle to pull it through. And yes, I did just put it through the new block that I am making. But that's all right. So you can thread it onto the eye. I don't know if I can get it a second time. We'll see. And then I'm actually going to go back down through this one. This is also kosher. Just like that. There we go. And so now, again, my tail is secure. It's not going to come out. I might go ahead and use a crochet hook and pull it through again to the side, but we'll see. We'll see how excited I get. And then I've decided I kind of don't like the way this one is coming across either. So you know what? I think I might go the opposite direction with this one and bring it back through there as well. So anyway, it is important to kind of pay attention to where your tails are. Oh, I wonder if I can hook it around there and pull it through at the same time. Let's see. Nope. Oh, well, it was a good thought. Anyway, you do need to pay attention to where your threads are going and what's happening with the direction of them, so that as you put your tails in and as you stitch, you don't end up with problems. So anyway, there we go. That is just sort of a quick guide to Kloster blocks, how to make them, and hopefully that helps you on your Hardanger journey. If you're interested in this pattern, this is one by Rendon Hornung and will be available at A Twisted Picot very soon. I am going to go enjoy the rest of my day. You have a wonderful one as well.